everyone, it's LJ from Pureco, and today our live is about the traditional method of decoupage using Pureco products, of course. So I've got some drawers. I've got a little bedside here that we've been working on. So I've got some drawers in various stages of decoupage, and you wouldn't believe it, but I've already stuffed this one up. I really only wanted the decoupage to be on this little front section and not on the edges, but I accidentally pushed it and it's all stuck around the edges as well, but not very well. So yeah, it's always bloopers and oopsies. But at the end of the day, I can just sand that back, so that's okay. So I'll get to this one later, how I finish that off. But I will start off. This drawer has already been painted. So this has been painted in our chalk finish in the colour Bluebell. So it's a really nice bright blue. And this is unwaxed. So the colour waxed, it comes out darker. The wax will make it darker. So to start off with, hopefully you can see everything okay. I've got 3 cameras and all sorts going. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the video. And Iana is reading out questions so that I can answer them as we go along. So, and if I don't get to them in the video, I will go back and answer them once it's over and look through all the comments. Okay, so to start off with, this is unsealed chalk paint, and I'm going to be using our Satin Sealer today. Now, all of our sealers will work for decoupage. Eggshell, gloss and satin are the better ones for doing this traditional method, just because they're that they're that little bit stickier, if that makes sense. The matte sealer is really awesome for the iron-on method, which I will do next week on the other twin of this one. So to start with, let's grab the Satin Finish. Oh, can't open it. Oh, there we go. And you just do a really nice thin layer where you would like your paper to go. So I've pre-cut the paper into the shape that I want. And I don't add any water or anything. So I just put the sealer exactly where I want the decoupage to go. So I only really want it on that front little square section, and you must make sure that you cover every section that you want, because if you leave anything without the glue or sealer, whatever you're using, you'll have an air bubble because it won't stick down. So I'm just doing a nice thin layer, covering all of it. So basically, depending on the color of your paper, will sometimes depend on what color you paint your underneath base, underneath the decoupage that you're doing. So if you've got a really pale bit of paper, you will do like a white or a pale color underneath. So I'm just going to put this on. So you just lay it down where you want your decoupage. And then I find like a balled up piece of Glad wrap. I'm just using bubble wrap today, but that's really nice to give you something to push without dragging, because it slips really easily. So I start in the middle and I push out any wrinkles, and I just keep working it until I'm satisfied with no wrinkles. Now this did have a fold in it, this paper, so that will kind of, you just have to push a bit extra to get that out. And so while you're doing this and the sealer is still damp, you can sort of lift it and push out any wrinkles. And the wrinkles do disappear. So I've got this corner that seems to be lifting a bit. So that tells me it's not sticking down when I rub it. That tells me I need some more sealer on it. So there, it's stuck down now. So you'll be able to tell as you're pushing it, any little bits that just sort of flip up, just means you haven't got enough sealer on there. And you don't want, it's kind of a fine line, you don't want too much because it just oozes everywhere and it wets your paper, and that's when you start getting tears. And then too little, then you're getting bits that sort of lift up. So I kind of like to do just a thin coat first and see what's happening with it, and then I just, you know, add more as I go along, because you don't want your paper to get too wet either. Just add a little bit more there and here. Now, there is many different ways of doing decoupage, and everyone has their favourite method. And I'm no expert. This is just what I know works for me. Okay, so I've got another little bit there that it obviously hasn't got enough sealer there. And I've got to be careful not to get sealer on the other edge, is what I did with the last one. And I don't actually mind making mistakes, because that's when I can troubleshoot and help a lot more. You know, if I've made the mistake and figured out how to fix it, then I can tell someone else and save them making that mistake. So I don't mind making mistakes. That's the best way to learn a lesson, really. Okay. Any questions, Arnie?
None so far.
Okay,
Someone did say that you're wearing all blue today. You've got blue paint.
Oh,
blue
yeah.
hair, blue shirt, blue apron.
I am. And funny enough, my favourite colour is, I don't know actually what my favourite colour is. I love pink. Or green, yeah. And then I wear blue all the time. Okay. And I've had to order some semi-permanent colour online because I can't go to the hairdresser and get more blue because I'm fading.
Actually, it does look a bit more faded on camera.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know
is
why.
really fading. Okay, so you can see that's all stuck down, and I wait for that to dry just a little bit. I sort of usually wait 15 minutes and then I put another coat over the top. So I'll do that now quickly just for the video to show you. And what will happen, it will crinkle up, but once it dries, it evens out. So you just do a thin coat over the top. And this paper that I'm using today is called, where is that? It's called Blueprint, and it's one of the Roycycled decoupage papers. I can never say that properly. I always feel like I'm being posh, like decoupage. So I'm just making sure that I don't get it all over the sides like I did with my boo-boo one. Seriously, you have no idea how many boo-boos I make all the time. It's usually due to impatience. I hate waiting for stuff to dry. Okay. And while this is drying, I thought I would just show you some other tricks. So you can see that started, I don't know if you can see, Arnie, one of the phones is kind of saying something. Okay, so you can see that it started to wrinkle. I don't know if you can, where's the light there? It's kind of wrinkled a little bit, but once it dries, it will flatten itself out. Don't ask me how it does that. That's just the magic. That's magic stuff. I don't know about that. So it just does. Okay, so at the moment, most of you know, if you use Pureco products, the silk range is really, really popular due to the self-leveling, the ability to get a really nice sheen on your paint, and it's really nice and silky to use, hence why I called it Silk Finish. And I guess that look of a simple, streamlined, beautiful, fresh, clean look is popular at the moment. So I thought I would just do chalk paint and just show you some tricks and different things you can do with the chalk paint. So I've got a few like blooper things on here as well, but I did this on purpose. So I'm just going to show you this, and I actually, while that's up there with the light, you can see that is waxed, and you can see the shine you can get up with your wax. So even though wax is a matte finish, you can keep buffing and get a beautiful sheen to it. Now, I don't know if everyone can see there, but you can see how it looks uneven. I'll hold it up a little bit. How there's darker, it's patchy, it's uneven there. So basically, that happens a lot when you're first using chalk paint, or you're using a different brand chalk paint that you normally use, because it takes a while to get used to a different brand. I know myself, when I first started using chalk paint, I used Annie Sloan, loved its guts, and then started using L'Essential, and it took me a little while to sort of get in the groove of using it, getting used to the different thickness and coverage and all that sort of stuff. Then I had a friend ask me, could I paint something of hers, but she had her tin of Annie Sloan. She goes, oh, it just needs finishing off with this Annie Sloan. I went, oh yeah, sure, no worries. I've used Annie Sloan before, and seriously, I could not use it. I was painting away, and I still love Annie Sloan, not discrediting Annie Sloan at all, but because I was so used to using a different brand, I went back to the Annie Sloan and went, holy dooly, no, can't do it. I couldn't paint it. So when you change brands, it is a good idea to try all different brands, see what suits your style and what you like using. But yeah, if it doesn't work for you the first time, you just need to practice. It's just using it and practicing. So basically this look can happen when you're first using chalk paint. It's kind of one of the joys of chalk paint, that you do get like varied looks and textures and that sort of thing. But I wanted to explain to you why that happens and how to avoid it. So your chalk, your wax, when you're putting it on, will only absorb into the chalk paint that's there. So what this tells me is these darker sections here, there's more paint. So there's more paint that wax can absorb into, because when you wax it, it goes darker. Then these lighter sections is where there is less paint. So basically, even though it looked like it was fully covered, good, you know, all the coverage, everything was right, it was a bit uneven. So I'll show you what I do to avoid that and how to get a smooth surface on your chalk paint if you prefer using chalk paint. So normally I'm a texture girl, like I'm a chalk paint girl through and through, so I never really worry about brush strokes and chunks and things like that, because I kind of love that grungy kind of look. But there are some tricks to getting a smooth finish. So, and you can achieve it. You can definitely achieve it with chalk paint. So first up, my best advice is to do, I do like 3 light coats rather than 2 heavier coats, because you want to kind of thin down that chalk paint, which is the opposite to the silk. you kind of need to load up your brush a little bit more to facilitate that self-leveling. If you do it too thin, it's just going to sit there. So you kind of, I tend to almost, it's not dry brushing because I use a wet brush and a spray bottle, but I tend to sort of like really lightly feather it over, if that makes sense. I'll show you what I mean. So I always have a mister, and a mister is better. You can use a spray bottle, but I find a mister better. It's a more even distribution of the droplets, and they're smaller, finer droplets. So this is what I do. You watch, it's not going to work. And yes, I did shake my my Bluebell. So I've got a bit of paint here in the lid. So I use that. I might just, I don't know whether I can see what I'm doing there, but I'll put that on top of there. Don't know, can you see that in the camera, Arnie? Or should I move this over? Okay, so usually I use a natural bristle brush, but for today, because I'm showing a smooth finish, I'll use a synthetic brush. So I spray my brush so that it's damp, and then I basically am just like dipping the tip of the brush. I don't know if you can sort of see there, and I just kind of feather it over. So, and I work the paint. So chalk paint is notorious for having a shorter work time because it does dry quickly. So I just respray my brush a little, and then I keep going. And this will smooth out all your brush strokes. And then again, I just add a bit more paint, do a little squirt, and get those edges. Can you see this all right, Iana?
Yeah.
What I'm doing?
Yeah.
And then you can even give your piece a bit of a squirt, not too much, because if you add too much water, and that's why the mister is a lot better, if you add too much water, you can tend to lift the tint to the surface. So when it's drying, you'll have darker patches where the tint has lifted. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I've done there. I'll just spray my brush a little bit more, and then I'll start on the body. Okay, so again, I really don't have a lot of paint on there. And I just start, I don't know whether the light will show you how thin it is there. And it might take me a bit longer to paint the piece, but if I'm really wanting a smooth look, then you just got to work at it and practice it really. And then I stretch the paint a little and stretch it out, because the chalk in the paint will naturally give it texture. So you're working the paint in the opposite way that it actually naturally wants to work. And then I kind of stop adding water to my brush now that I've done it a couple of times, because otherwise it's going to be too wet. I then start just a little squirt and stretch it out. And I do go over. I know many people say, you know, you shouldn't really work chalk paint, but if you've dampened it, it will just keep moving. And that's what you want. You want a little bit of movement so that you can smooth it out a bit. Hopefully I'm making sense. Like, it makes sense in my head what I'm saying. So hopefully it makes sense to everyone else, not just prattling on. So I'll show you. And this is going to stop that jagged look like on the other side. I don't know if the light can catch, but you can see there how smooth that coat is. And then use the light when you are working on your pieces. Use the light to see. So you can see there's a line where it might be uneven. So use your light to, you know, find where the patches are. And if you do start waxing and you find that it's looking a bit uneven, just stop, wipe over your piece with some hot soapy water. Not too hard though, just enough to kind of loosen that wax and sand it off. That's my advice. So I'll leave that there because hopefully my decoupage over there is, no, it's not dry yet, but okay, so I'll show you on this one that is dry how I get a smooth edge. I just get like a 120 sandpaper and just run it along the edge. Oop. This is going to look hilarious because I've got half of it stuck down because I was silly and impatient yesterday. And basically, what should happen when you haven't done a boo-boo and you've got your clean edge is you sand along and this will just peel away if it's not stuck down, because I'm a twat. But that's how you get your nice clean edge. You can also, I don't have a small brush, but a small artist brush, you can actually use, if you have papers where you want to do some blending on the edges, and you want like an uneven edge. So this one you want a straight edge, but there's some where you might want an uneven edge, like around flowers and things like that. Use a wet brush and just sort of paint where you want your edges, and it'll just pull away, and you'll also get that really nice, rather than a blunt edge on your paper, it'll be like a softer tear off sort of thing, if that, hopefully that makes sense what I'm trying to explain. But that's another way as well if you're wanting a soft edge. So basically I just sand this off, and because I was an idiot and stuck down most of it, it's not coming away. Oh, this is a great educational lesson, isn't it?
What not to do.
What not to do. Don't be impatient. Now I let these dry overnight, and so like I wouldn't sand this one until it's dry. The one that we've done today, I'll sand that tomorrow. But with this oops that I've done here, all I really need to do is just get into these edges here and sand away that paper that's stuck where I didn't want it. See if I can do this edge here. And that will just come away. No, it's not, because it's glued, LJ. Haha, did it. Yes. Okay, so that's how you get your soft edges when you haven't done the wrong thing and glued it down. And you can see, comparing these, trying to catch that light, this one's quite wrinkly compared to this one. So it does even out because I did exactly the same method that I did today with this one here. Okay, I'm just going to sand this off. We haven't got Scouty here today.
I know, I'm sorry.
We've got our shop dog. Our little shop dog. Far out. Isn't it always the way? Doesn't want to come away today. I'm actually liking this paper. It's really nice. So there you go. That just tears off. Hopefully you can see that there. Oh, and I've teared paint off. Yay! Also, depending on the look you want, you can sand over the whole surface as well if you like, if you're looking for a textured look. So I have something else to show you today as well. We have some new wax brushes. So what I thought I would do is a little competition today. So those customers, if you share this video, I'll go through and randomly pick someone to win 2 of our new wax brushes. So there's 2 sorts. Obviously I've been using them for a little bit. So we've got a flat top brush, you can see there, and this one is really good just for your everyday waxing. They're a combination of synthetic and natural bristles, so they are a lot softer than your traditional wax brushes, because our wax is quite soft really, so it suits them a lot. But also I find when they're really tough bristles, it's hard work, you know, making them move across your piece. And you can also use this for stenciling as well. Then we've got a pointed bristle brush. So this is really good if you're wanting to do some shading or get into details with your wax. So if you're using like a colored wax and wanting to get into your appliques and all that sort of thing, this will get into the darker crevices, and really good for that. So yeah, if any customers would like to share the video today or any of our videos each week, I think I might do a giveaway every week maybe, because we've got some new colors coming. We've got 12 new colors, and we've basically based these on our Australian landscapes and our lifestyle. So all the names are very Australian, talking about, you know, our sunsets and all that sort of stuff. So that's very exciting. I'm hoping that maybe I'll have them out by Friday, but we'll see. Hopefully Friday at the earliest, but couriers and everything have been taking twice as long at the moment with all the lockdowns, so I never know when anything's turning up at the moment, so it's just potluck. So yeah, share the video. So I'm doing lives every Wednesday at 11 o'clock on both Facebook and Instagram. We're also recording it and popping that on our Pureco YouTube channel. And the reason I'm not doing recorded videos is because I'm just time poor basically. So I find for me it's easier, I do the live video and I'm done. I don't then have to spend another hour editing. Plus I'm really crap at editing and I'm impatient, and if I don't get it the first time I get really cranky. So yeah, so this is my way of trying to share some knowledge and fitting in to a time frame as well. So hopefully you enjoyed today and had a laugh at me doing a blooper. But anyway, and next week we are going to do this table's little twin, and it's going to be the sister. This is the brother. We're going to do sister next week, and we'll do the iron-on method of decoupage, so I can show you that as well. Thank you so much. Don't forget to share so you can win some wax brushes. See you later. Bye.